Welcome to COMM 474 Media Theory. This video is just going to be a brief overview of what you can expect from this course, the layout and design of our online classroom on Brightspace, and overall just what the basic expectations for the class are going to be. So let's start by introducing myself. Hi, I'm your instructor. I'm Professor Wittmeyer. My name is McKenna Wittmeyer. You maybe have had me before. I teach mostly in the public relations area in the School of Communication. I also serve as the assistant director in the School of COMM, which means you've probably gotten some emails from me about advising information. I'm a great resource if you have any questions about your program here in the School of COMM, and then certainly, of course, if you have any questions about this class. I am a professor of instruction here at UA. I did my Master of Arts at Kent State University in Public Relations. I did my Bachelor of Arts at Miami University in Strategic Communication, and I worked over 15 years in marketing and PR. So certainly I will be sharing some of that professional experience here as it applies to media theory, but it also gives you an idea of the approaches I come from and where my expertise lies. Now, important information, if you need to reach me, here's my contact info. You can also find it at the top of our Brightspace page. The most or quickest way that you could really reach me is via email, and you have my email address here. It's mwittmeyer@uakron.edu. Last name's a little tricky to spell, so I always suggest to my students just copy and paste it or click it from a link. I do have an office in Colby Hall. It's in room 108E, which is the main School of COMM office. I'm in there sporadic times. I have a lot of other responsibilities here on campus, so office hours are by appointment only. It just becomes too hard to have a set time when students also have individual schedules. So you can certainly use the link at the top of our Brightspace page to schedule a time to meet with me, or you can always send me an email. Virtual meetings will be held on Teams, but certainly we could also meet in person if you are going to be on campus. But because this is an online course, I absolutely can meet you online. And then I've also shared my cell phone here. I ask that you use it with discretion, but certainly you could text me questions or give me a call during normal working hours with questions about our assignments. But I will say that the best way to reach me, because I'm always in and out of meetings, I'm running around, is via email. I do my best to reply to email within 24 hours during a normal work week, up to 36 hours during a normal work week. And then if you do email me on the weekend, I do my best to reply, but it is possible you won't hear back until the next working day, which would be Monday. But I'm pretty responsive overall. If you've had me before, you know what to expect. Now, because we are an online class, 100% online, that's meeting asynchronously, I like to spend some time talking about my tips for how to succeed in an online class and what my expectations are for you as an online student. So first, make sure you have regular computer and internet access. This is important. The projects we will do in this class require multimedia, so you're going to need a computer, not just working from your phone, not just working from a tablet. That's not going to be enough for this class because you are going to have to create things independently outside of a lab. So if I were to teach this class in person, we would probably be in maybe the social media lab or certainly one of our computer labs. But because we're not, it's important you have a computer. You also need to be familiar with how to access, download, upload materials to Brightspace. That's our classroom. So being able to navigate Brightspace is going to be really important in making sure that you're getting everything done you need to and you're accessing all of the material you need to. So make sure you're well oriented to Brightspace. In the next few slides, I'll show you how I set up our Brightspace course and how you can really navigate it easily based on that setup. You should also do your best to check Brightspace and your email daily. If not checking Brightspace daily, certainly your email. These are the two places where you're going to find updates from me, announcements from me, and anything that has to do with our course. So make sure you are checking those regularly. The next thing is you should access all materials that are posted by me. This is key. You will see when we look at our grading and evaluation criteria that there's still a course engagement score. There's still an attendance score like you would be in person, but instead what I'm looking at is, are you accessing the things I post? Are you watching lectures? Are you accessing assignment instructions? Are you viewing the syllabus? So I will be monitoring that, and that's what I use towards your course engagement score. So the best way to assure that you get a really good course engagement score is to make sure that each week you access everything in the module, the weekly checklist, the lectures, the assignment instructions, and that's going to be a guaranteed A for your course engagement score. And then last, set aside time each week dedicated to the class. Because we don't have assigned class times like a typical in-person class, it's up to you to decide what those times are going to be, but make sure you do them. Just like a regular in-person class, you should have at least 2 days a week that you dedicate some hours to this class. Now it's up to you to decide what those look like. If it's Tuesday at 11 p.m. and it's Friday at 11 p.m., great. If you know you can only log in Friday and Saturday because you work during the week, again, that's fine. That's the nice, flexible part of a 100% online course. The key here is that you're still getting things turned in by the deadlines, which are typically going to be either Fridays or Sundays, and that you're actually spending time logging in. So now, what is this class actually all about? What are some things we can expect to achieve by the end of this class? Well, first, students will be able to identify key concepts related to media theories and research. So certainly, as you might infer from the title of this class, we're going to be examining popular media theories. You're also going to produce a well-designed multimedia project that actually applies these theories. In fact, we'll do 2. We'll also research a media problem and construct a multimedia project that applies to that specific research, which means we'll be investigating some of the challenges that come along with these media theories we're exploring. And then last, we'll understand how media theories impact the world around us, including the impact it has on our personal and professional lives as communicators. So this class is really fun because you'll find that these theories we're exploring, while some are old and some are a bit newer, they really are applicable in ways that you might look and say, oh, duh, I guess I never thought of it as being a theory. But the reality is because media is such an important part of our lives today, that there's a lot of intrinsic patterns and things we can observe about that consumption of media. So I think you'll leave this class really feeling like you better understand media's role in society. We do have a required text for this course. It's Mass Communication Theories, Explaining Origins, Processes, and Effects. It's the 2nd edition, and you have access to it already through the All-In Book Bundle. This is our inclusive access program, and it helps assure that you have instant access to the text for this class on day 1. In fact, we have Chapter 1 due in week 1, so having this instant access is important. If you opted out of the All-In Book Bundle, you will need to purchase this text independently. I can't help you source it. This was my attempt to help you source it by putting it in the book bundle. So it's up to you to get your hands on the text if you opted out. We do also have some required technologies for this class. First, a computer, right? It's a 100% online class. You need to have computer access. Similarly, internet access. You have to be able to log in and get online because that's where our classroom is. You also should have access to Microsoft Office 365, specifically Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint. These are available to you free from the university. You just have to use your UANet ID login. In fact, I've included a link to these resources in our syllabus. You also need to have access to a camera, phone camera or computer camera are just fine, tablet camera, something simple. Doesn't need to be a DSLR, doesn't need to be a full-scale video camera, but some sort of camera. And then some sort of audio recording device. Again, you can record a voice memo on your phone, that works just fine, or your computer mic. It does not need to be sophisticated advanced equipment, but you do need access to this type of equipment. Now here's our course design. This will help you kind of get familiar with how each week is going to be set up. Each week will begin Monday at 12:01 a.m. and go through Sunday, 11:59 p.m. So Monday to Sunday is effectively each of our weeks. That means week 1 is going to open Monday at 12:01 a.m. Assignments will be due on Fridays or Sundays, more often Sundays, but during finals week, we have a couple assignments that are due on a Friday by 11:59 p.m. The best way to track what is due in each week, well, there's a couple ways. But the first way I always recommend is looking at the course calendar. Our course calendar on Brightspace has all of the due dates already listed. Additionally, you can pay attention to the weekly checklists and the weekly announcements because they will always notify you if an assignment is due in that week. Those weekly checklists, very important. They have all the tasks for the week. I also will look at the completion of the weekly checklist towards your course engagement score. So make sure you're checking off items as you complete them each week. And then last, the weekly announcements will also navigate you to what you need to get done in the individual week. So at the start of each week, at the start of week 1, when you're wondering what to do, there's 2 places to look. The weekly announcement, which will spell it out, or the weekly checklist, which will also spell it out. Make sure you're using those resources to get everything you need done in each week. There should be no confusion about deadlines. Similarly, you can also look to the course schedule that's in our syllabus. Now, this is just the first 6 weeks of our syllabus, but you can see it outlines what topics we're going to cover, what reading is due, and what assignments are due in each individual week. Use this to follow along, and you're going to do just fine. And then the last thing we'll take a look at is the grading and evaluation criteria. This also comes directly from the syllabus, but you can see it has our individual assignments spelled out. We will do 2 different sets of scripts for our 2 different multimedia projects. Again, we have 2 different multimedia projects. One is a video and one is an audio recording. We also have a media problem research project, 2 exams, a final reflection, and then 5 discussion posts throughout the semester. And then last, you can see that attendance and engagement score. Remember, this is the one where I'm looking at your engagement with materials on our Brightspace page. So those 50 points, those should be a give me. As long as you are accessing all the materials, you are going to get those 50 points. But if you don't click on things, you don't open things, you don't watch lectures to completion, you're not going to score as well. So make sure you're accessing everything. Now, if you have any questions about the materials here or the syllabus or the expectations for the course, remember, you can always email me. I have it listed here and also at the top of our Brightspace page. Ultimately, this is a really cool course. I think most students find that they are a little intimidated at first with the theories, but once you see them in application, it makes it really interesting. It's definitely a mix of psychology and sociology along with this analyzing media and pop culture. So I think it's a really enjoyable class. I'm looking forward to a great semester with all of you. And remember, don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions about anything.